The moment is now. Are you ready?
Let's play Armis. Well, it wasn't supposed to happen like that. It was just supposed to populate automatically. If you're familiar with what the setup is supposed to look like, everything is supposed to be contiguous. But as you can see, there are some breaks. And so let's fill in the holes like this and this. Fill this one in like that. That looks pretty good. Let's see now. Let's get the aircraft carrier over there. Submarine off the back row. And let's also get the Coast Guard up front. Marine, ships, mover, and Air Forces. Very good. Let's begin. Well, what I'm trying to do is to get my sea vessels into coastal waters. For the deep sea vessels such as the aircraft carrier and submarine, I want to get those into coastal waters so that they can go on their own into the deep waters. My guess is that I won't be able to do anything with the aircraft carrier. My best bet is to try to just focus in on the submarine and the Coast Guard. A lot of times, unless all three sea vessels are lined up right next to each other, it's awfully difficult to put them all in during the same game. Okay, with the president here, this piece is threatened. It's a piece that I'm willing to lose, but I don't want my opponent to get too far into my setup zone. So I'm not exactly pleased with that. Let's see here. What can I do? Alrighty. Now, although I use my helicopter to go here, normally whatever's here would get taken out, but because the nuke is not subject to friendly fire by the helicopter, that's why I wasn't able to take it out. Now, had it been the diplomat or the child, it wouldn't fly over, but I would have been able to take it. Now, I just took my opponent's marine using my helicopter, since my helicopter was covering the aircraft carrier. Now my opponent has the opportunity to use his president to take my helicopter. My helicopter is presently double covered by the vice president and the marine. Alright, now if there was more space on the board, or this helicopter would be able to fly over another 4 spaces to take this one, but obviously there's not enough space, so he can't make that move. And for now, let's see, went here, it wouldn't do anything either, so we'll let that stay. if I went here, I can go 1, 2, and go here. But if I did that, well, maybe I'm speaking too quickly. What I was thinking is, if I went here, then the president can take it just like it can take it here, but my vice president can move 4 spaces, so it can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And so just like the president can take the helicopter here, it can also take it here. In both places, my vice president is covering the helicopter. However, if the president chooses not to make that move to capture the helicopter, then the helicopter can fly over here and capture the president. So in this position, he can't capture the president, but in this one, he can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I made a mistake, because if the president doesn't take it, the jet can take the helicopter by flying over here, and at that point I might just chalk it up as a loss, because I don't think I want to use my vice president to take the jet. Now that the president took my helicopter, which I called the jet a moment ago, but you know what I meant. I'm not sure if I want to do that move to take the president, because now I know the jet can take my vice president. So that's not worth it to me. I'll just put the diplomat in front of the vice president as bait, so that if the president takes the diplomat, my vice president can take his can take it. Now I can get back to my submarine and my okay. Since the submarine can make can go in and move either 1 or 2 spaces in deep waters, in the position that I was in over here, all it need to do is go 1, 2 and capture my sub. If I went over here, it can just go 1 and capture the sub, and then, but being over here, it can't do a multi-directional move. It has to be straight, so it's either here or here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is try to push in the Coast Guard and to threaten my opponent's lone Marine. Now I have 2 Marines. I really need to get them into action as soon as possible. They've been dormant far too long. Alright, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You can go here and threaten the Marine directly and still be covered by my Marine. Okay, that's good. Now put this over here, so that with my president over here, if I'm able to get my Coast Guard from here to here, then my president can use the Coast Guard as a bridge from the south setup zone to the north setup zone and capture this Marine, or capture the diplomat. I probably will not go for the diplomat, it's only worth it to take the Marine. My guess is that the Marine will disappear. If so, that'll give me the opportunity to move my Marine up in this direction, depending on where my opponent's Marine goes. Wow, I'm surprised it didn't make that move, but I certainly did. Alright, so now with that, there's 2 Marines down, and if there's anything behind this little area here, I don't see anything, so I can do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. So it's just these 2 pieces that I have. And the reason why I wanted to count them off is because if I have at least 3 of my opponent's military, then the nuke can be activated, or is active. And I want to make sure that I know where that nuke is at. Given that it's close to the flag, within the blast zone of its own flag, it can't activate. Now, if I took the helicopter with my president, my opponent's army would be able to take my president. So before I do that, I'm just going to take the diplomat. Can be activated, or is active. And I want to make sure that I know where that nuke is at. Given that it's close to the flag, within the blast zone of its own flag, it can't activate. Now, if I took the helicopter with my president, my opponent's army would be able to take my president. So before I do that, I'm just going to take the diplomat. Okay. I didn't even see that. I would have acknowledged that earlier. I saw when it moved here, but I didn't recognize the fact that my submarine was under threat. Else I would have said something. Well, that's what happens when you see something, but you don't recognize actually what took place. Let's get this vice president. It can move 4 spaces. It can take the child. I doubt if he'll do it, but it might. And at this point, my diplomat and my child are the only 2 pieces that can take my opponent's nuke. Strangely enough, my opponent's full executive, the president here and the vice president here, are both threatening the 2 pieces that can take the nuke. So had my opponent taken out the child and taken out the diplomat, then his nuke would be basically free to roam. The only thing that I can do to stop the nuke is to either use my nuke to near it, that would take it out, or just block it so that it can't move. But since that did not happen, I can take the VP, and which will allow my child to go up in this area by using that same bridge to capture the nuke. Now, I did miss when the army went here, but it's still out of range for my president. But I won't be able to get back onto this bridge because I would have to go here or here. Well, need to be lined up straight with this, and that's not going to happen with the Army over there. They'll easily capture my president. But it can go this way, so I'll do that, not a problem. And at this point, I'm going to use the child to board 1, 2, 3, 4. It'll capture on the next move if the nuke stays put, which I kind of doubt that it will do, but it's impossible to outrun the child. So I'll use the child as bait over here if the nuke falls back. Now at this spot here, the helicopter can't capture it because it has to fly either 2 or 4 spaces, and whatever's directly in between the takeoff and landing is what comes out. So it can't take the child, but the Army can take the child. And so if it does take the child, then my president will take the Army. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I thought I would have been able to capture the nuke on that move, but apparently not. And anything else would be within the striking distance of the Army. So I'm going to go in a different direction. 1, 2, 3. The child can move 4, and it can climb over pieces, but non-offensive pieces of my opponent. But the diplomat can only get captured by my opponent's president or vice president. Vice president I already took. So it only has this that can take it. The military, such as the jet, can't take. All right. So now, let me. Well, I'll finish that thought. The jet can't take my diplomat, nor can. Well, there's nothing else that's within range of that. Now with the Army over here, it's too close to my president for me to stay here. That would not be too wise unless I was trying to bait it for my Marine, which I'm not really trying to do. But and so it can go this way or it can go this way, and if I went here, it's the same would apply. So the best bet for me would be to 1, 2, 3. It's out of range of my Marine, so if I can pull it back here, and so it's out of range of the yeah, that's my best bet. I'll pull it back here so it's out of range of the Army, and then I can move my Marine closer, perhaps onto the coastal waters in this box, so that it can capture the Army soon. Alright, now that the nuke is out of contention, I can move my Marine in faster. Okay, my attention was elsewhere for a moment, so I want to see what that move was that the computer did. Alrighty, moved its helicopter over here. again, it can't fly far enough to cover the Army that I just took with my Marine, and the jet is in a different flight path, so there are no worries there. The helicopter is actually under threat by my Marine, and again, it's not within the flight path of coverage for the jet. Now at this point, I'm going to go for the reserve and the flag right after. Even if the jet flies from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here, it doesn't take out the diplomat, and it won't pose a threat to my Marine. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.
It will capture your heart and your mind. Let the whole world see us through your eyes. Land, air, and sea victory.